it's Christina Safka from Chtv. I'm so excited to be bringing to you today a guest who, a busy mum just like the rest of us, has created an amazing future for herself. Welcome, Karen. It's so amazing to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Christina. I'm excited to be here.
Your story has truly inspired me because I'm a busy mum too, just like you, and you have created this amazing job for yourself. I would love to hear more about what you do.
So today my life looks a lot different than it did even 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, I guess. Today I have choices for the first time in my life about, first of all, if I have an alarm clock happening or not, how I spend my days, who I spend my days with, and how I celebrate life with today.
But it wasn't always like this. So
no, it wasn't.
So take us back to where it all really began. What gave you this amazing idea that you needed to do something else for yourself?
Wow. So I woke up one day about 40 years old, and I realised that I was still in the same place as what I was when I was about 15 years old. When I was 15, I left home, finished school, left home, and got my first taste of freedom. So I'd grown up on a farm, and I left home to go to work in the Big Smoker in Brisbane, in Queensland, and that was my first taste of having freedom. And I thought having a job, working hard, doing the 9 to 5 would give me the dreams I had as a little girl, and the dreams of, you know, having my own family, living in the fairy tale house, being a great mother, and sharing my life with my children, and having time for them and myself. But unfortunately, I woke up at 40 and I didn't have time for anyone. I was working a 9 to 5 job. I had 2 children at school, a busy husband, and all I did was run around all day. And I felt guilty when I was at working for somebody else and not spending time with my kids, and then I felt guilty when I had to be at home with my kids and not contributing at work. And I was just really unhappy, really tired, really stressed, and I just had prayed for something different to come my way.
I can so relate to what you're saying. I mean, I'm a busy mum too, and like the rest of us, it would be amazing to know, how did you actually crack the code and get out of the rat race? We all want to know this.
Well, I wish I was just smart and I just knew that I needed a different sort of income in my life, but I wasn't that smart. When I left school at 15, I'd done many things over the time. Spent 15 years in banking, and I loved working with customers. I loved listening to people and hearing what they did and how they did it. And so I was sort of a natural born sticky big, you could say, Christina. So that enabled me to talk to people. I was always interested in talking to people. But in the bank, we were transferred around the countryside a lot. We moved every couple of years just to get promotion. And so that also made me very unhappy, because I was dragging my children around from place to place and not actually living in the places that I wanted to live. And so we got out of the bank and decided to be in control of our own future, and we bought a business, a traditional business. We bought a licensed post office, and it was a place where we thought that we would have control of our lives every day and also our future. But what we found there was that we had bought a very expensive job. It cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy that business, and we worked 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. And at that stage, my youngest child was 6 months old. Wow. My oldest was 4 years old, and so I had even less time than what I had when I was working in the bank. And so we did that for a few years and decided that wasn't very smart, and so I went back to working for other people, and I spent my days running around for somebody else, making someone else money, and then we'd come home at night and try and do the juggle. One day I was introduced to a different concept with a company called New Skin, and they had a line of products in the anti-aging and wellness industry, and I was always interested in looking better. I don't mind getting older, Christina, I just don't want to get uglier as I get older.
It sounds like the rest of us.
And so I was interested in finding out more about their technology, mainly for their internal products at first. Because my family history with health wasn't that great. A lot of cancer in my family, and I'd had a cancer scare myself, and so I was interested in prevention. And so this company was bringing out some really interesting technology that I thought was important for my health.
So what in particular made you pick this company?
Well, I think it really picked me. So when I was first introduced to the company, it was through some technology that can actually measure your antioxidants. In 35 seconds, you put your hand in front of this little thing that's about the same size as a toaster, and it can measure your antioxidants. And they're the things that keep us well. Every disease is related to the lack of antioxidants in our body. My family history was full of cancer. My dad had died of cancer, my uncles. I have had my first cancer scare myself, and so I was always interested in prevention. Don't wait to get sick, don't wait to get old, do something about it now. And so that's what interested me to actually go along and at least look at that. Because for me, Christina, when I first heard about network marketing, because this is a network marketing company, when I first heard about that, I thought it was for losers and nothing that I was ever going to do, because I was a corporate banker. So I had a lot of fears, or not even fears, I had a lot of thoughts of what I thought it was. And when I was first introduced, it was important for me to be able to like or trust the products and then trust the company.
So what were some of those fears that you encountered?
So I guess just the thought of that it's just another thing, it's a scam, it's not real because it's not in the shops, it's those sorts of things. You know, if it's so good, why doesn't my doctor know about it? If it's so good, why doesn't my naturopath know about it? Those sorts of fears.
So how long before you, I mean, obviously you tried the products out, how long then before you thought, I could be sharing this with others and making some money from this?
So that came over time. So first of all, I was very intrigued about the innovation. That I wanted to share with everybody I loved straight away, because I knew it could help save my life or improve my life. I wanted to share that with everybody that I loved. So that was really simple to do that. The thought of actually building an income with it didn't happen for me straight away. That took a long time. But back then, you have to remember there was no internet, or there might have been dial-up, but certainly there was nothing much on the internet. And so the only way for me to learn more about the technology, the innovation, the products that went alongside of it was to attend the company's events. And what happened there for me, Christina, is that I'd go along to these events and I would meet very ordinary people, and I mean this with a great deal of respect. Very ordinary people, the average man, woman, neighbour, uncle, auntie, those sorts of people that we all have in our lives, but they were living extraordinary lives. And I was thinking about my life and how unextraordinary it was that I was just rushing around every day, day in, day out, spending most of my time yelling at my kids to hurry up and get moving so I could go to work. So I could run them to school and go to work and run around for somebody else, and then come home and yell at them again to hurry up and get bathed and get homeworked and get to bed because I was tired and I was cranky and I was stressed. And these people that I was meeting were not yelling at their children every day. They were actually creating amazing memories with their children and their families and living the life that I wanted to live. with choices that I didn't have. And I thought, because I'd done all the right things, you know, getting good jobs, working really hard, living the corporate life, that I should be the one enjoying those awards, but I wasn't. They were.
So what were they sharing that was so extraordinary, that inspired you, that you wanted what they had?
Well, I met this one woman in particular, and she was a mum the same age as me, 3 great kids, all going to exclusive private schools. She was driving her Mercedes to drop them off to school, and she would then go to the gym, meet some friends for coffee, share what she did with some other people, pick up her kids from school in the afternoon, go horse riding or creating some other great experience with her children because they had lots of horses, and spending time with her kids. I just rushed everywhere, Christina. Everywhere. In fact, it makes me very emotional to think how my kids were really just dragged up because I didn't have time. Time is the greatest gift.
So did you have any fears? How did you face all of this?
Oh, did I have fears? We don't have that much time. So I met these people, they were living extraordinary lives. I needed to do something differently. And so, yes, I had lots of fears, Christina. First of all, I had never sold anything before in my life except for stamps.
Wow.
And people would come into the post office and they would ask me, could they buy a stamp? I didn't have to go look for anybody. I had never taught anybody anything before except for my kids how to tie their shoelaces. And so to go from that sort of experience to be able to go out there and share something that I loved and to help other people see what I could see was a big step for me.
Wow.
And when I first started, I thought, wow, if I could at least share this with some other people, maybe I could get my products for free. And that would be a great thing. And but what's happened is it's turned into something way bigger than that. But there was a lot of personal growth there. Lots of tears. I call it, you've got to cross the bridge of tears to grow. Nothing exciting happens in your comfort zone, and certainly nothing exciting was happening in my comfort zone.